My name is Jesse Reeves. Today we'll be reviewing how to create a new client in CaseMaster Pro online. This video is part 2 of 2 reviewing this process and will demonstrate how to configure advanced client settings, such as default case settings, default accounting settings, and more. If you have not already, please watch part 1 of this series on our YouTube page, titled Creating a Client Part 1. Being able to create a client in CaseMaster Pro online is important, as this allows you to both create new clients as well as modify and/or troubleshoot existing clients. To start today, I'll begin on the main case file screen. I am currently logged into a demo database in version 4.2 of the application, so your screen may look slightly different than mine, but all features should still apply. To first move to the Clients grid, we'll navigate to Contacts, Clients. As seen in the previous video, we can add a new client by clicking Add New here. Today though, we'll start by editing the client we created in part 1 of this series by selecting and clicking Edit. To begin, we can first see the information we entered previously, including the name, address, phone numbers, and emails. Newly added on this screen though are a few key areas. First, at the bottom, we have Additional Contacts grid. Here we can add a new contact into the grid by clicking Add New. Once here, we can enter information similar to before, while also being able to track an individual's title and department. As with other grids in CaseMaster Pro Online, once done, click Save to view your entry in the grid. Next, below the county, we have an imaging area. This area allows us to add images specific to the client directly. This area functions the same as imaging on a case file level, so I won't dive into detail about how to add and edit images, but if you would like a refresher, please view our imaging tutorial on YouTube. Back at the Clients page, I'll skip Settings for now and move to the Agent area. Similar to the Additional Contacts, this page allows us to track a client's agent and their basic information, such as name, address, phone number, and email addresses. If utilized, this allows us to use this information in various areas, including document templates. Now we'll go back and look at client settings. On the General Settings page, we can first set the designation. This is either set as a client or a forwarder. As we can see by hovering over the field, if the object is marked as a forwarder, they cannot be selected as a client on the case file main screen. Another thing to note is that when a new client is set up, they are always considered a client by default. Hovering over many fields on this screen provides a brief description of what the field controls. For example, we can see that updating the forwarder field will also update the default client code for checks, invoices, and remittances to the same value. Lastly, in this top area, we can also set a code purpose, allowing us to set a custom message to be shown when adding this code to a file. Below here, we may set many fields to automatically populate upon opening a new case file using this client. For example, I'll set a default user, a default branch, and a default client type. Now, when creating a new case file using this as the client, these fields will automatically populate with these values here. At the bottom of the screen, we can lastly set 2 more default values. The case file warning message allows you to display a message whenever the user loads the case file with this client assigned. This is similar to the pop-up message found on the main case file's settings screen. We can also set the email subject line template, which allows us to automatically populate the email subject line when writing an email with this client assigned to the file. I'll save now, click OK, and re-enter the settings, then move to the Accounting tab. Again, these settings allow us to set default settings to a case file when assigning this client to the file. Importantly on this screen, we can see where some of the financial settings come from, that aren't set directly on this screen. For example, we can see here that the payment hierarchy is set at the company level. If we would like this client to have a different payment hierarchy, we can change this by clicking on the setting here and selecting the new payment hierarchy. This would in turn automatically set such as the default for case files with this client. Please view our settings hierarchy video for a full explanation of how setting these settings at different levels works. Next, we'll look at the billing tab. Again, I'll point out that many fields on this tab include an informational pop-up to explain the field in detail. Also on this screen, we can set billing rates in this grid. To add a new rate, click Add New. Next, select a user or user group and enter the corresponding rate, and then click Save. This is fully customizable, allowing as many different billing rates to be used as needed for any user. Next, on the checking screen, we can set some default settings regarding adding checks for a client. Importantly on this screen, if the checking address differs from the client address, you can set that here and will appear on all checks for this client moving forward. On the Remittance tab, we can set default remittance settings for this client. The first feature I'll point out on this screen is the contingency rate. To set a global contingency rate for all files under this client, you will enter it here. The second feature I'll point out on this screen is the commercial rates suit fees area. To enter it, we'll click on the label here. In this pop-up, we can set custom suit fees by adding brackets. You can enter a rate, amounts, as well as optionally days. One cool feature in this pop-up is the Load Rates button. This allows us to load a preset collection of rates into the grid. For example, I'll click here and select Test Rates. Now we can see that 3 brackets appear with the rates and amounts automatically populated. Next, on the New Case Files tab, we can automatically set reviews and billing to be added when opening a new case file with this client. We'll add a new review now by clicking the Add New button and selecting the review we would like added. We can further customize this by also specifying if this review should only be added if the case file is a specific case type and/or branch. Before moving on, I'll also point out that we can automatically generate documents upon opening a case file using the checkboxes above. I'll quickly move through the last 2 tabs now. The first being an area where you can set custom EDI codes, and the second tab allowing you to set a password for the client portal. If you would like to utilize any of these 2 features, please reach out to a CMPOnline representative for assistance. And that wraps up today's video. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us through the contact support icon in the application or through our website. Thank you and have a great day.